A caged alien girl begged for freedom, and he risked everything to save her. The neon signs of Nebula Station cast an eerie glow across Ren Walker's face as he navigated the crowded marketplace. The air was thick with the scent of exotic spices and mechanical oil, a testament to the station's reputation as a haven for both legitimate traders and those operating in the shadows. Ren adjusted his worn leather jacket, feeling the reassuring weight of his plasma pistol against his ribs. Last shipment went smoothly, he muttered to his contact, a squid-like merchant named Vex. Got something else for me? Vex's tentacles rippled with interest. Heard whispers about a high-security facility in the lower levels. Something valuable inside. Something that sings. Ren's interest peaked, but he kept his expression neutral. Singing cargo. That's a new one. The facility wasn't hard to find, though getting inside proved challenging. Ren used his expertise in security systems to bypass the outer defenses, moving silently through sterile white corridors. The singing grew louder, a haunting melody that seemed to resonate with something deep in his soul. He found her in a crystalline chamber. Naira wasn't what he expected. Her form was humanoid, but her skin was composed of translucent crystal that caught and reflected light in mesmerizing patterns. Her eyes were pools of swirling silver, and when she moved, it was with an otherworldly grace. I wondered when someone would hear my song, she said, her voice carrying the same melodic quality as her singing. The others passed by, their minds too clouded to notice. Ren studied the security measures around her cell. Why are you here? My people, the crystalline, have abilities beyond physical form. We can influence energy, emotions, even reality itself through our songs. Some fear this power, others wish to harness it. She pressed a crystalline hand against the barrier. I refuse to be a weapon. The decision to help her wasn't logical. Ren had built his reputation on staying detached, taking jobs that paid well and asking few questions. But something in her silver eyes spoke to him of shared loneliness, of a desire for freedom that echoed his own. If I help you, he said carefully, there will be consequences. Powerful people don't like losing their possessions. Naira's crystal form shimmered. I am no one's possession. Help me escape, and I will show you wonders beyond your imagination. The security system wasn't impossible to crack, but it would take time. Ren worked methodically, aware of Naira's singing growing softer, more focused. He realized she was using her abilities to mask their presence from the facility sensors. Almost there, he murmured, fingers dancing across the control panel. Ready? The barrier disappeared with a soft hum. Naira stepped out, her crystalline form catching the light in new ways. She was taller than him, her movements fluid and graceful despite her seemingly rigid structure. We need to move, Ren said, checking his scanner. Guards will be making their rounds soon. They made it halfway to the exit before alarms blared through the facility. Red emergency lights cast ruby shadows across Naira's crystal form, making her appear as if she were filled with living flame. They're coming, she warned, her voice tense. Multiple directions. They have dampening fields. They'll try to suppress my abilities. Ren drew his plasma pistol. Then we'll have to be creative. Can you run? What followed was a desperate chase through the facility's corridors. Naira's singing created illusions that confused their pursuers, while Ren's expertise in combat and navigation kept them moving toward freedom. They worked together instinctively, as if they trained for this moment. Finally, they reached Ren's ship, a modified smuggling vessel named Shadow Dance. As they lifted off from the station, Naira placed her crystalline hand over Ren's on the controls. Thank you, she said softly. But this is only the beginning. Those who imprisoned me won't stop hunting us, and there are others of my kind who need help. Ren looked at her, seeing both beauty and strength in her crystalline form. He'd never been one for causes, but something about Naira made him want to be more than just another smuggler. Well, he said with a slight smile, I always did enjoy a challenge. The shadow dance disappeared into the star-filled void, carrying its unlikely pair of fugitives toward an uncertain future. Behind them, Nebula Station erupted with activity as search vessels prepared to launch, but Ren and Naira had already plotted a course for freedom. And perhaps something more. The shadow dance drifted silently through the Calypso Nebula, its stealth systems engaged as Ren plotted their next move. In the ship's small observation deck, Naira's crystalline form cast prismatic patterns across the walls as she gazed at the swirling gases outside. "The Syndicate controls most of this sector," Ren explained, studying their navigation charts. "They'll have bounty hunters watching every major port." Naira turned to him, her silver eyes rippling with concern. "There's a sanctuary, a hidden outpost where others of my kind have found refuge. But reaching it requires passing through Syndicate territory." The outpost's coordinates led to the heart of the nebula, where ionized gases and magnetic storms made conventional navigation nearly impossible. Perfect for hiding fugitives, Ren thought, if you could reach it without being torn apart. A proximity alert blared through the ship. 3 Syndicate cruisers emerged from hyperspace, their weapon systems charging. Ren's hands flew across the controls, engaging evasive maneuvers. "They're using quantum scanners," he growled. "Must have detected your crystalline signature." Naira placed her hands on the ship's walls, her form beginning to pulse with inner light. "I can mask us, but it will take all my concentration. Can you get us through the nebula?" "Never met a storm I couldn't navigate," Ren replied with a grim smile. "Hold on." The shadow dance plunged into the nebula's outer layers. Brilliant colors swirled around them, as energy discharges crackled across the hull. Ren guided the ship through the chaos with precision born of years of smuggling experience, while Naira's song created a protective field that confused the pursuer's sensors. A massive electrical discharge rocked the ship, overloading several systems. Warning lights flashed across the cockpit as the artificial gravity fluctuated. Ren fought to maintain control while Naira's song grew more intense, her crystal form now blazing with internal light. "Port engines failing," Ren announced, rerouting power. "We need somewhere to set down for repairs." Through the swirling gases, a massive shape emerged. A derelict mining station, its structure half consumed by the nebula's energies. Ren guided the damaged ship toward one of the abandoned landing bays, hoping the station's bulk would provide some cover from their pursuers. The landing was rough, but they made it. As emergency systems stabilized the ship, Ren noticed Naira swaying, her crystal form dimmer than usual. "That took more energy than I expected," she admitted, leaning against him for support. Her touch sent a tingling sensation through his body, like static electricity, but somehow pleasant. "Rest," he said softly. "I'll check the engines." The station's atmosphere was thin but breathable. While Ren worked on repairs, Naira explored the abandoned corridors, her natural bioluminescence providing light in the darkness. She returned with an urgent expression. "We're not alone," she whispered. "I sense others, different from my people, but similar resonance." Before Ren could respond, movement caught his eye. From the shadows emerged several figures, humanoid but with bodies composed of living metal rather than crystal. Their leader, a female with silver chrome skin, stepped forward. "I am Zena of the Metalborn," she announced. "We too seek sanctuary from those who would use our abilities as weapons, but trust is hard to come by in these times." Ren kept his hand near his weapon while Naira moved closer to the Metalborn. "Your song," she said. "It harmonizes with ours, though the frequency is different." Zena nodded. "We are cousins of a sort, both children of the ancient Starforgers. The Syndicate hunts us as well, seeking to understand and replicate our unique properties." A plan began forming in Ren's mind. "Maybe we can help each other. My ship needs repairs, and you need protection. Together, we might have a better chance of reaching the sanctuary." The next hours were a blur of activity. The Metalborn helped repair the shadow dance, using their natural ability to manipulate and enhance technology, while Naira and Xena combined their powers to create a stronger cloaking field around the station. Ren found himself watching Naira as she worked, mesmerized by the way her crystal form shifted and changed with her emotions. She caught him looking and smiled, the gesture sending ripples of color through her translucent body. Having second thoughts about helping a fugitive? She asked, her melodic voice tinged with humor. No, he replied honestly. Just wondering how I lived so long without hearing your song. Their moment was interrupted by alarm signals. The Syndicate ships had detected them despite their precautions. As everyone rushed to battle stations, Ren realized something had changed within him. This wasn't just about survival anymore. In Nira, he'd found something worth fighting for, a cause greater than himself. With the Metalborn's enhanced technology and the combined powers of two ancient races, they might just have a chance. As Ren prepared the shadow dance for launch, he glanced at Naira, her crystal form now pulsing with determined energy. This was going to be one hell of a fight. The shadow dance burst from the derelict station, its enhanced engines humming with Metalborn technology. Ren's fingers danced across the controls while Naira and Xena combined their powers, creating a shield of crystalline energy and living metal around the ship. Multiple Syndicate vessels on approach, Ren announced, watching the tactical display. They'd brought reinforcements, including an Omega-class destroyer. The massive Syndicate warship emerged from the nebula's swirling gases, its black hull bristling with weapon emplacements. Smaller attack craft swarmed around it like angry insects. They're desperate to recapture us, Naira observed, her crystal form pulsing with nervous energy. This goes beyond simple weapon development. Xena's chrome features hardened. The Syndicate discovered something in their research, something about our true origins. The destroyer opened fire, its energy beams dissipating against their combined shield. Ren guided the shadow dance through the barrage with practiced skill, using the nebula's natural phenomena to their advantage. We need answers, he said, executing a tight spiral around a particularly dense energy cloud. What did they find? Our peoples weren't created, Naira explained, her voice strained from maintaining the shield. We're what remains of the universe's first sentient beings. The Syndicate believes they can use our essence to unlock the fundamental forces of reality. A direct hit rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed as secondary systems failed. The Metalborn crew worked frantically to repair damage in real time, their bodies merging with the ship's infrastructure. The sanctuary, Xena said urgently. It's not just a hiding place. It's an ancient archive, containing knowledge of our true potential. If we can reach it before the Syndicate. Another blast struck them, this one penetrating their weakened shields. The cockpit filled with smoke as circuits overloaded. Ren fought to maintain control while Naira's song reached a desperate pitch. There, she cried, pointing to a massive structure barely visible through the nebulous chaos. The sanctuary's defensive systems are activating. Ancient weapons platforms emerged from concealment, their design unlike anything Ren had ever seen. They opened fire on the Syndicate fleet, their energy beams cutting through advanced shields like paper. The Omega-class destroyer turned its main guns on the sanctuary, determined to destroy what it couldn't possess. But as it prepared to fire, something extraordinary happened. Naira and Xena joined their powers fully for the first time, their combined energy resonating with the sanctuary's defenses. A wave of crystalline metal spread across space itself, transforming the very fabric of reality around them. The destroyer's weapons fired, and the beams curved impossibly, returning to their source. The massive ship's hull cracked like an egg, spilling its crew into the void. By all the stars, Ren whispered, watching as the remaining Syndicate ships retreated in panic. What did you do? Naira's crystal form shimmered with exhaustion. We remembered, a fraction of what we once were, what we could be again. The shadow dance limped toward the sanctuary's docking bay, its hull scared but intact. As they landed, Ren realized this was more than just another smuggling job gone strange. He'd become part of something ancient and powerful, a story of redemption and rebirth for species thought lost to time. And somewhere in the depths of space, the Syndicate was regrouping, planning their next move. The war for the future of two ancient races was just beginning. Naira took his hand, her touch sending familiar tingles through his body. "Are you ready to see what lies within?" Ren squeezed her crystalline fingers gently. "Lead the way." The sanctuary's massive doors opened before them, revealing corridors that seemed to be made of living light. As they stepped inside, Ren knew their greatest challenges and discoveries still lay ahead. The sanctuary's interior was a marvel of crystalline architecture and living metal, corridors shifting and realigning as they walked. Ren, Naira, and Zena led their group deeper into the ancient structure, following pathways that seemed to respond to the combined resonance of the crystalline and metalborn. "The archive chamber should be ahead," Naira said, her form glowing brighter as they approached a massive doorway inscribed with symbols that shifted and changed like liquid light. "But there's something else, a presence I haven't felt since childhood." The doors parted silently, revealing a vast circular chamber. At its center stood a figure that made both Naira and Zena stop in their tracks, a being composed of both crystal and metal, its form constantly flowing between the two states. "Daughter," the figure spoke, its voice carrying harmonics that made the entire chamber vibrate. "You've finally returned." Naira stepped forward, her crystal form pulsing with emotion. "Father, but you disappeared when the Syndicate attacked our homeworld. We thought you were dead." The being, Lord Cyrex, as he introduced himself, moved toward them with fluid grace. "I came here to protect our greatest secret, the truth of our origin and potential. The Syndicate learned fragments of it, enough to know our people are key to unlocking the fundamental forces of creation." Ren watched the reunion with mixed emotions. He'd grown close to Naira during their journey, but now he was witnessing the true scope of who and what she was. The daughter of an ancient being who could reshape reality itself. "The Syndicate will come in force," Zena warned, her chrome features reflecting the chamber's shifting lights. "They'll bring everything they have." "Let them come," Cyrex replied, his form solidifying into pure crystal for a moment. "This sanctuary holds more than just records. It contains the means to awaken our full potential, to restore what was lost eons ago, when our peoples chose to defy our essence." He turned to Ren, studying him with eyes that seemed to peer into his soul. "You, human, you've protected my daughter, helped unite our peoples again. Would you stand with us in what's to come?" Before Ren could respond, the sanctuary's alert systems blared to life. The Syndicate had returned, not with a fleet, but with an armada. Hundreds of ships dropped out of hyperspace, led by 3 Omega-class destroyers. "They must have called in every available ship in the sector," Ren said, checking the tactical displays. "They're deploying some kind of new weapon, energy signatures off the charts." Cyrex's form shifted to living metal. "They've learned to harvest and weaponize the essence of our fallen. An abomination, but one that could prove devastating." The first shots from the Syndicate fleet struck the sanctuary's outer defenses with unprecedented force. Even the ancient shields struggled to hold. "Father," Naira said urgently, "the awakening protocol. We have to try it now. It's our only chance." Cyrex nodded gravely. "The process could destroy you if you're not ready. And it requires." He looked at Ren, a catalyst, a being of pure potential, unbounded by the limitations we placed upon ourselves. "A human," Zena realized. "Their adaptability, their capacity for change." Naira turned to Ren, her silver eyes swirling with emotion. "It has to be your choice," she said softly. "But know that whatever you decide, you've already changed everything for us." Another blast rocked the sanctuary. Emergency force fields activated as sections of the outer structure began to fail. The Syndicate fleet pressed their attack, determined to claim the secrets within. Ren looked at Naira, remembering the moment he first heard her song in that prison cell. He'd been a simple smuggler then, concerned only with his next job. Now he stood at a crossroads of cosmic significance. What do you need me to do? The awakening chamber was a sphere of pure energy, its surface rippling with patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. Ren stood at its center, while Naira, Zena, and Syrex took positions around him. The process will use your inherent adaptability to help us break the self-imposed bounds of our evolution, Syrex explained. It will be intense. That's one way of putting it, Ren muttered, then turned to Naira. If this goes wrong. She stepped forward, pressing her crystalline lips to his in a kiss that sent shivers of energy through his entire body. It won't, she whispered. I believe in you. The chamber activated, and Ren's world dissolved into pure light and sensation. He felt the essence of crystal and metal flowing through him, reshaping him on a fundamental level. In that moment, he understood what they truly were, beings of pure energy who had chosen physical form eons ago, dividing themselves to better understand the universe they had helped shape. Now, through him, they would remember, and the Syndicate would learn the true meaning of power. The awakening transformed everything. Ren's consciousness expanded beyond physical form, merging with the combined essence of crystal and metal. Through his catalytic presence, Naira and the others remembered what they truly were, beings of pure energy who had once shaped the very fabric of reality. The Syndicate fleet continued their assault, unaware of what was unfolding within the sanctuary. When the transformation was complete, the ancient structure pulsed with power that hadn't been seen since the dawn of time. Ren opened eyes that now saw far beyond the visible spectrum. His body was neither fully human nor entirely crystal or metal, but something new, a bridge between all forms. Beside him, Naira and the others had undergone their own metamorphosis, their forms shifting between states of matter with fluid grace. It worked, Syrex observed, his voice carrying harmonics that rippled through space-time. We are whole again. The Syndicate's weapons struck the sanctuary's shields, but now instead of struggling to resist, the barriers absorbed the energy, growing stronger. Ren reached out with his new senses, feeling the fear and desperation emanating from the enemy fleet. They wanted power, Naira said, her form blazing with inner light. Let's show them true power. Together, they extended their consciousness into space. Reality itself bent to their will as they reached toward the Syndicate armada. Ships tried to retreat, but space had become fluid around them, distances stretching and contracting unpredictably. The harvested essence the Syndicate had weaponized responded to their call, breaking free from artificial containment. The released energy flowed back to its rightful place, strengthening their collective power further. Wait, Ren said, his humanity still providing crucial perspective. We can end this without destruction. Naira turned to him, her form now a mesmerizing dance of crystal, metal, and pure energy. What do you propose? Show them. Let them understand what they're truly fighting against. Maybe then they'll realize the futility of trying to control powers meant to create, not destroy. Syrex nodded approvingly. Wisdom from our human catalyst. Very well. They projected their combined consciousness across the fleet, touching the minds of every Syndicate commander and crew member. In an instant, they shared the truth, visions of the universe's birth, of beings who chose physical form to better understand their creation, of power meant to nurture rather than dominate. The effect was immediate. Weapons powered down as the Syndicate forces grappled with the revelation. Many ships began retreating, while others remained frozen in space, their crews overwhelmed by what they'd witnessed. They'll spread the word, Zena observed. The Syndicate's power was built on ignorance and fear. Now they understand too much to continue as they were. Ren felt Naira's essence intertwine with his own, their energies harmonizing in ways that transcended physical attraction. What now? He asked. We have the power of gods. Where do we go from here? We rebuild, Syrex answered. There are others of our kind scattered across the galaxy, hiding or imprisoned. They need to be found, awakened, and there are wrongs to right. Not through force, but through understanding. And us. Naira's question carried layers of meaning as she moved closer to Ren. We're something new now, neither purely human nor ancient energy being. Ren smiled, his form shifting slightly to mirror hers. We're proof that evolution doesn't end, that different forms of life can come together to create something greater than the sum of their parts. The sanctuary, no longer needed as a hiding place, began to transform. Its ancient walls opened like a flower blooming, revealing the splendor of the nebula around them. But now they could see it as it truly was, not just gas and energy, but a living tapestry of potential waiting to be shaped. There are other humans out there, Ren said, with the potential to serve as catalysts, and other beings who could join with us, adding their unique essence to our collective understanding. A new age, Cyrex agreed, one of cooperation rather than conquest. Xena and her metalborn joined with the crystalline beings, their once separate peoples whole again. But it was Ren and Naira who would lead them forward, their unique bond symbolizing the endless possibilities that lay ahead. As they prepared to leave the sanctuary, now a beacon rather than a fortress, Naira turned to Ren. Their forms shifted and flowed together, energy and matter dancing in perfect harmony. "Ready for another adventure?" she asked, her voice carrying echoes of the song that had first drawn him to her prison cell. "With you?" Ren's human heart still beat within his transformed being, reminding him of where he'd started and how far he'd come. Always. They emerged into space together, their combined essence lighting up the nebula like a newborn star. The universe stretched out before them, full of possibilities and potential. They were no longer fugitives or hunters, neither purely ancient nor entirely new. They were the next step in cosmic evolution, proof that love could bridge the gap between the most distant forms of life. And somewhere, in the depths of space, their song began to spread, calling to others who dreamed of transcending their limitations and finding something greater than themselves. The end was just another beginning.